Hello and welcome everyone. Thank you very much for tuning in. This is a screencast-o-matic presentation and recording for the part of the lesson that has us looking at special powers of Congress, specifically impeachment. This reading and presentation is brought to you from Upfront Scholastic, and it's entitled What You Need to Know About Impeachment. Before we get started, please let me encourage you to open up to today's lesson, scroll down the correct section, and get ready to answer the key concept questions that coincide with the reading. Let's go ahead and get started. This is what you need to know about impeachment. So from the first impeachment, the House of Representatives is launching an impeachment inquiry against President Trump, but what happens now? On September 24, Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi announced that the House of Representatives will launch impeachment proceedings against President Trump. Trump will become the fourth president in American history to face an impeachment inquiry. The actions taken to date by the president have seriously violated the Constitution, Pelosi said. Trump, she added, must be held accountable. No one is above the law. The decision was prompted by new allegations that Trump tried to elicit a foreign power's help in his re-election by pressuring the president of Ukraine to open a corruption investigation of former Vice President Joe Biden. Biden is a leading contender for the 2020 Democratic presidential nomination, so President Trump has denied any wrongdoing and called the impeachment inquiry a presidential harassment. The constitutional process for trying to remove a president from office is complicated, but here's a look how impeachment actually works. Number 1. What is impeachment? So the Constitution permits Congress to remove presidents before their term is up, if they're found to have committed treason, bribery, or other high crimes and misdemeanors. Impeachment is the first step in that process. So the framers established impeachment as a safeguard against the president from abusing the office. Having just fought for independence from the tyranny of King George III, they worried about presidents becoming too powerful, so they divided the federal government into three branches: executive, legislative, and judicial, that have the ability to check one another's power, and gave the House of Representatives the sole power of impeachment. Number 2. What are high crimes and misdemeanors? So there's no easy answer for this, because the Constitution doesn't exactly actually say. But the framers specifically mentioned treason and bribery as impeachable offenses, but didn't list the other high crimes and misdemeanors. However, most people take the phrase to mean serious abuse of power or grave misconduct in office. It doesn't necessarily mean the law that was broken. Constitutional scholars still debate the vague phrase's meaning, but they often look to Alexander Hamilton's writings for guidance. In one of the Federalist Papers in 1788, he described impeachable offense as those, quote, which proceed from misconduct of public men, or, in other words, from abuse or violation of some public trust. Number 3. What is the process? Now that Pelosi has announced a formal impeachment inquiry, subcommittees that have been investigating the president for other alleged offenses will look into new allegations as well. They'll call on witnesses to appear before Congress, and they'll ask for documents. If the subcommittees determine there is enough evidence of wrongdoing, they'll bring formal charges, known as articles of impeachment, to the full House. The House, which is currently controlled by Democrats, would then hold a vote on one or more of them. If at least one gets a majority, which is 218 votes, the president would be impeached. So number 4, what happens if the House votes to impeach? Well, the next step is a trial in the Senate, overseen by Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. A team of lawmakers from the House, known as managers, would play the role as prosecutors, presenting the case against Trump. The president would have defense lawyers, and the senators would serve as the jury. If at least 2/3 of the senators find the president guilty, he is removed from office, and the vice president takes over as president. Now that has never happened. 2 presidents have been impeached by the House, Andrew Johnson in 1868 and Bill Clinton in 1998, but both were acquitted by the Senate and remained in the White House for the remainder of their terms. In case of Richard Nixon, once it became clear that there was enough support in Congress to remove him from office, he resigned. Now, because the Senate is controlled by Republicans, 20 Republican senators would have to vote to convict Trump, along with all 47 Democrats, to reach the 67-vote threshold needed to remove him. Experts say that does seem unlikely. Number 5. If the Senate is unlikely to convict Trump, why go through all this? Well, that thinking is exactly what made Democratic leaders resistant to impeachment for so long. And some political observers believe impeachment proceedings could help Trump get reelected next year by energizing his most ardent supporters. This is the fight that traps the Democrats into an increasingly unpopular position, says Newt Gingrich, former Speaker of the House and a Trump supporter. It's a win-win for Trump, he adds, but many Democrats now say that regardless of the political fallout, this has become a matter of principle, and they're obligated to act. The future of our democracy is at stake, says Congressman John Lewis of Georgia. No matter how the inquiry plays out, experts say it's a historic moment. It's a huge deal that the step has been taken, says Norman Ornstein, a scholar at the American Enterprise Institute, a conservative think tank in Washington, D.C. We're heading into something that is a rarity in American life, and this is ratcheting it up in a very different level. So as you guys can see, those are all the steps that take place when it comes to impeachment. You may now answer the rest of the key concept questions, and please remember that you can replay any part of this presentation for detailed clarity or repetition. Good luck.